Alright, today we're having a look at the Bunker 2 by Palms. Alright, so here we are on the Bunker 2 by Palms. Now, this has been, it's been pushed and pointed out to me by a YouTube commenter named Ushwa, and I've really wanted to take a look at it, but scheduling has been really weird recently. I did play Bunker 1 a little bit earlier just to get myself back into the flow. Now, it says we haven't played this level before, but I think that's in fact wrong. And it might be that R1. That's not what we need. Come on, get back up there. It might be that changing my name, changing my ID on the PlayStation has screwed up whether or not it's considered us actually to have played this before. But I am familiar with the levels, and I'm pretty sure that we've done all of them on stream. Actually, this is an LBP 1 slice of goodness. The Bunker 1, as well as this, and I believe the Bunker 3, although I don't have really great memories of Bunker 3, are really good examples of how hard creators could push to make things work in LBP 1, because a lot of the tools that we have available now, we didn't have available then. So, for example, teleporting through death. Well, I've never really been a big fan of that mechanic. That really was the only way that we could get kind of a teleportation effect going on in LBP1. So, it is kind of neat seeing the workarounds that were done here. Fake bounce pads, for example, is another good one. Now, we are trying to beat this race in some kind of decent time. And the level is, I want to be careful about that. Level is a relatively long level, although not, darn it, that's not what I wanted to happen at all. Not the longest level that we played in LBP1 by any means. Bunker 1 took about 5.5 minutes for me to complete just a little bit ago, and that was, like, not by any means darn it! The fastest possible time. We're already down to 56 seconds. Holy crap. Oh, jeepers. Okay. Deep breath, Risco. Deep breath. We can do this. Man! Oh, I feel so bad because we hardly got to show any of the level. But I hope that you've enjoyed what you've seen, Ushwa, and anybody else who has been playing. And if I can track down whatever stream we actually played Bunker 2 on, I might put that as a link in the comments field. But I don't know if I've... Oh, jeepers. Forgot about those. Didn't know about those. Alright, watch out. We can do this. We can at least get to the next section, and I think this is where we're probably going to call it. So, we'll talk about this back at the hub, and we'll see you there. See yas! And we're back. And the Bunker 2 by Palms. And I'd say it's a well-deserved green circle here. I'm really glad that Ushwa pushed me to take a look at this one on the show. I know that we've done it on stream, but it's a very different experience kind of playing through these levels on your own. Of course, we're recording a little bit for the video, but I always go back and I play levels in a series 1 or 2 times just to get a feel for things, get some tip footage, and just to really experience the level on my own like that. I really appreciated it. I think that Ushwa was correct in promoting Bunker 2. It is probably the more solid of the 2 levels. Bunker 1 is actually, it is a lot of fun. I did enjoy Bunker 1 a lot. There isn't really a lot I felt was wrong with the level, but I thought Bunker 3 was a bit of a letdown, to be perfectly honest. There are fairly long stretches in Bunker 3 where you're riding on a really slow craft, and you're using the Paintinator to kill some, you know, like VR type of machinery there, and it's okay, but it lacks, I think, the movement of Bunker 1 and Bunker 2, and to kind of focus on Bunker 2, obviously, because that's where we are. And it's the longest of the levels, it's the beefiest of the levels. Playing through on my second time here, it got me down to about 7 minutes 54 seconds. Not about, exactly 7 minutes 54 seconds. That's shaving about 2 minutes off of our original playtime, but it's still pretty big level. And even though it is a big level, it's very well decorated. Material choices are very solid throughout, and you get a very good sense of place in that level. One thing that I've noticed playing through on streams with LBP1 levels, particularly the very long LBP1 levels, is they tend to be under-decorated and focusing on just a few materials in order to take as much pressure off the thermometer as possible. I didn't really get that feel here. I felt that the environment was well built out. And as a piece of that environment is the audio environment as well. All of the machinery is cued auditorily, audibly. You can hear a cue, as well as see a light change. I don't know why I screwed up that. You can see a light change as well to kind of give you a feeling for what's going to be moving and what's going to be happening, and I appreciated that a lot. I like the different uses of mechanics in there, the use of the jetpack, for example. Getting the robots, the machinery to actually destroy things for you. There's a section later on where you'll be flying around in your jetpack, and there are those kind of, well, a little bit machine bits that shoot out contact mines. And you've got to get them to destroy walls for you without getting yourself killed. And I thought that was really neat. I thought that was really cool. I did mention in the video, but the mechanic of using death as teleportation, and I think it's well handled, and it, as we said, is necessary in LBP 1 levels. It's pretty easy to parse where you're going to be ending up. You're never confused about where you're going to be going, and it's worked into the level fairly well, forcing you to go back and forth in certain areas to open up different things and move along. There was one section with that, though, that I felt was maybe a little bit trickier than necessary. You've got to pull a switch, and it's going to make some invisible blocks visible, or it's going to create some blocks that you can run across on. So you pull the switch, you run to the teleporter, you teleport down, you get across those blocks, and then you pull another switch. The timing on that section is really, really tight. It's really quite unforgiving. I think just adding even one more second onto the timer would have probably made for still a tense, but not quite as frustrating experience, because it's not really easy to die in that section, but it is easy to miss the jump and to kind of get yourself screwed up and have to do the whole thing over again. One other bit that I found relatively frustrating is something that we saw in the video. You're on the jetpack and you're going up this kind of chasm, and there are giant drill mechanisms that are going to the wall. I really like those mechanisms. I thought they looked really, really cool, and they had that auditory cue on them as well that I appreciated. The problem is that the mechanisms, when they hit the wall, and they throw out flaming chunks of rubble, and the rubble is a little bit hard to parse against the other flaming bits that are in that section. So it's really easy to get tagged by a piece of rubble, not really realize what it is that's killed you or knocked you out of the jetpack, and have to do that entire section over again. Either making the rubble more clear, or just not having that as a hazard, because the hazardous walls, I think, in the tight spaces are probably enough for that level, enough for that section. The addition of the flaming rubble bits really doesn't, I think, add too much to it. Palms was a fairly prolific creator. Did create some levels in LBP 2 as well as LBP 1. I didn't notice any levels on their moon from LBP 3, so perhaps they drifted away in the interim. But the LBP 2 levels we've taken a look at on stream, and they are really quite good as well. Most everything I played by Palms is a lot of fun. It's great. It's intricate. It's got challenge to the player. It's got pressure on the player, but it, for the most part, doesn't feel unfair. And I think that's a really key point, that with these difficult levels, that we don't make the player feel like they're dying for no reason. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, there is a vehicle section in this level, and it's really nice. It's really interestingly handled. A little bit tough to parse originally when I first played. If you grab it once, it'll move in one direction. If you let go and then grab it a second time, it'll move back in the other direction. It's not really a big deal if you mix that up. It's just going to shave some time. It's going to add some time onto your race, and of course you want to shave off as much as possible. But I like the way that section was handled, and I really like the look of that section. I thought it was pretty cool. Palms, if you are still playing, if you get the notification that we are looking at your level, I want you to know you did a great job. You're an amazing creator, and I hope that whatever's going on with you these days is very, very good. And Ushwa as well, thank you very much for pushing me on this and keeping me on this with all the things that have been going on in life recently and all the changes in the schedule, and it kept on slipping my mind that I said that I was going to go and do this level. So to have that one last push, and oh yes, that's something that I wanted to do and get to, I really appreciate that a lot. But I think that pretty much does it for us here at this go about. So from me, Disco, here in Osaka, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.